One of the questions we get a lot, and I get a lot, is, this is, are we seeing 2008 all over again? Are we going to see a housing crash again? And I would say the answer is a very strong no. It's not the same. And you said something that was a great example of how this is different, or just one of the many examples how this is different. Back in 2008, 9, 10, when we're dealing with all those short sales, meaning people that had to get their home sold and have the bank take short what the lender was owed on the home, the lenders weren't really working with people. They were just saying, sorry, you didn't pay your mortgage, foreclosure. This time it's very different. There's these forbearance programs that are available. If you're in a mortgage and you have an issue and you're not able to make your mortgages for financial reasons, you need to reach out to your loan servicer, and your loan servicer is basically the person you're paying your mortgage to.
Right.
And there's a bunch of them, Freedom Mortgage and Bank of, all the banks and everything. And just reach out to them and say, hey, I need some help here. I've found, going on the different websites, every one of those, big national mortgage servicers, they have something right on their homepage of their website, need help, reach out here. That is very different than what was happening in 2008 and 9. So there's a lot of workout options, as they call it, for people that aren't able to continue making their mortgage.
Right.
So just remember, help is available. And the other thing, Tracy, is we're so different than 2008, 9, 10 because people have equity in their homes this time around, way more equity in their homes.
Right.
And so there's that other option, which is sell the home, but not as a distress sale, not as a foreclosure where you give it back to the bank and have that on your credit history, ruining your credit. I read something the other day. I was reading some stats on, what's been happening with the forbearance programs since the beginning of the pandemic. And there was a bunch back in March, April. Right now, about 50% of the people that entered those programs are now off those programs. Either they've exited the programs, meaning they've started to make up their payments, they've refinanced and, started making their payments, or they paid off the loan, which means they probably sold the home. So, a good 50% of the people who are in those programs have come out of those programs. So that's a good sign going forward. The reality is we still have about, I think I apologize, I think the number is about 3,000 people in the country that are still in some form of delinquency on their mortgage. And just remember, I'm going to say this again, is delinquency does not equal foreclosure. Delinquency just means people are not making their payments. That doesn't mean it automatically equates to the home going into foreclosure, right?
Right.
And I keep seeing that being reported as that one equals the other, and it's just not the case because there's so many options for people.
Perfect. So, new topic.
Yes.
So, we were talking, with Eddie a while ago about what our year has been like in real estate here locally.
Yep.
We want to talk about trends for 2021, but let's talk locally. We have a hard time talking about our team ourselves, right? It's always nice when someone else gives you kudos and says, hey, good job, guys. During these difficult times, and it has been a difficult year for our industry and every other industry and people everywhere with the COVID situation. But we've been able to serve over 500 people with home buying, home selling. We're investing in real estate, and we have seen quite a few investors this year.
Yeah.
So we've helped over 500 families this year, which is just really awesome. I don't know that any real estate team in New Mexico has done that before.
No.
And that's with the COVID issues that we've had and how difficult it's been. And, we really want to congratulate all our buyers and sellers who have moved forward and taken care of their housing needs despite the situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Taking advantage of this kind of historic time in real estate right now with the ultra low interest rates, the strong, buyer demand, meaning seller's market, and people, with the ability to lock in these low interest rates and their housing costs for a lot of time. One of the things we've seen that I think some people were predicting it back in March, but the demand for a home and having, a home has really gone up this year, because people are recognizing how important it is
to have that place.
And, we're so thrilled that we've been able to help people do that.
Right. So one of the things I really want to say too is how proud I am of all of our team members who have
oh my gosh, yes.
gone above and beyond and really, gone out, used precautions, but gone out and helped people buy and sell homes when, we were deemed essential, and we were out there before we really even knew how they were treating COVID and how people were recovering from COVID. And they've done their part because they care, and they're helping people. Really proud of our team for that. It's awesome. We've got
it's been different, not, in the office, not in the office, working from home. Everybody's been dealing with it just like we have. I mean, we are, we're one of the lucky industries. In fact, we're probably, one of the luckiest industries right now, the residential real estate, because it's been the strongest sector of the economy. And so we're blessed to be part of it. And I know a lot of industries are really suffering, and,
think about, what we talk about regularly every once in a while on this show about how our industry supports so many other people, right?
Of course.
So our industry has supported the movers in town. We've got Max over at Relo NM, right, with Beacons.
Beacons, yep.
We've got all of our inspectors, whether it's septic or sewer lines or home inspections or roof inspections. We've got all those contractors that do work for people to get their home ready for sale or sold, or repairs, right? It goes so deep. Our lenders, our title people. It's really important for our economy, the housing industry. So it's an important thing. So talking about 2021, trends in real estate in 2021, Tigo, you and I have had a lot of discussion about this past couple weeks.
Well, of course, so trends, let me kind of cue this up. So trends that we've been seeing coming now and going into 2021, obviously there's been some big changes in the real estate world, how people use their homes, and some of the things that have been going on. You can I think a lot of people realize that you can throw the rule book out on so many things this year, and that's true in the residential real estate market. And so I wanted to go through some of the things that have happened and look to continue to happen. And one of them is the remodel boom.
Right.
We were just talking about this whole idea how the real estate economy, the residential real estate world, when homes sell, there's either the fix up before sale or the fix up after the sale, or the people deciding that they're going to stay in their home and getting it ready for them to, be more work at home. And I'm going to get into that stat in a moment.
Think about us, Tigo. We were home.
Yep.
We went, the office is closed. We're home. Let's remodel the kitchen, right? We did a big remodel in our kitchen.
We did.
And then our office was closed, so we took advantage of nobody being here, and we did a big remodel on our office as well.
True.
And we know so many others have done the same thing. It's like,
True.
Okay, I'm here more. I'm homeschooling kids. I'm working from home. I need to recreate my space and how I live.
Yeah.
And we've seen it.
One of the big things that's going to affect the real estate market in 2021 is the number of homes on the market, or lack thereof. I mean,
right.
that's the challenge right now, is we have historically low, like all-time low number of homes on the market. And, there's this expression out there in the real estate economy, or real estate economists, it was called the lost decade. And that was from about 2008, 2009, the home builders just stopped building. And I say stopped, you know what I mean? It went from
boom to bust.
1,000 to 10, right? And And what's happened now is we haven't had a lot of new homes coming on the market. However, the household formation, the population, the number of people that want to own homes has continued on. And what's happened with the coronavirus thing and these low mortgage rates is people that are maybe first-time home buyers have jumped up, right? We've pulled some of those future home buyers into the market this year, and that's part of the reason that the supply is so low. Another reason is the older generation, the boomers. Just saying.
I'm a boomer, right?
Yeah, we can say, okay, boomers, that's us. They're not, I mean, when we're talking to older boomers, but they're not moving. I mean, think about it. Who does anybody know anybody that's moved into an assisted care facility in the last 6 months?
Yeah, it's a tough time to be moving into an assisted living type place, but there are some that are moving into the active adult places.
That's true,
right?
but that's different.
Right.
I'm talking in one of the stats that I read is that the in-home care services, that business is booming right now.
People are choosing in-home care over moving to an assisted living place where you're piled in together, right? And
well, and what that means is those homes are not coming on the market.
Right.
And they in normal times, those homes would have been coming on the market.
Right. So we're missing all those homes for people that haven't moved to assisted living.
Yeah. A couple other kind of buzzwords that have come out this year. One of them is called Zoom towns. And Tracy, have we talked about this?
I haven't heard that.
Zoom towns. Zoom towns. And that's a good example would be Boise, Idaho. Or some of those towns. What was the other one? Anyway, kind of up. Even Spokane, where people
Tahoe.
that are in these really expensive markets, Silicon Valley, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, the expensive, Los Angeles, the really high price markets, they can now basically work from anywhere and Zoom into their business, Zoom into their meetings. So they're calling them Zoom towns. So people are selling the expensive home, or they're keeping the expensive condo in San Francisco and buying a home in again Boise and Tahoe, and now it's the other term, which is called primary co-primary home.
Co-primary home. So they've got two primary residences. It's not a vacation or second home now that they go to occasionally. It's two primary homes. And you know what we're seeing, Tigo, is they're set up.
And that doesn't help the inventory situation either.
Right. They're taking up two homes instead of one. Yeah. But one of the things we're seeing with that is they're set up to work from home at both locations. They have the full desktop, double screens at their co-primary home.
I don't know anybody like that.
In addition to their primary residence that they had before, right?
Yeah.
So it's people who may not have even had second homes before or vacation homes, but now they have two primary residences. So,
yeah. Co-primary residence.
I just hadn't heard the word Zoom towns.
Yeah. So work from home. Needless to say, work from home is a thing. We went from, let me get the stat here. In 2019, they said about 6% of the people worked at home.
Right.
In 2020, they're saying it's going to be about 21% of people working from home. And I bet it's
much higher than that.
Yeah, and I think this is full time.
Yeah, there we go.
Unlike people like us that are kind of, back and forth.
Well, there's a lot of people who are still working in
co-primary offices. I think that's a thing. A lot of people, right? They have their work office and they have their home office, and they can bounce back and forth with the technology pretty easily.
Which is what we've done as we're able. We'll have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 people that are in the office, but we're less than 25% for sure.
So the experts are predicting that in 2021, I really dislike that term, the experts, because I think we've all lost faith in the experts in 2020, but that's a different conversation. However, the people that actually really dig deep and look at this stuff, they're saying that in 2021, we're going to pull back a little bit, but it'll still be 18% of people working from home. And in 2022, they'll say 12% of people working from home. So that's double Right.
Double 2019. And so we're assuming by 2022, we won't be in the middle of this pandemic anymore.
Yeah.
People will be able to be back at work as normal.
And the point is there's obviously a shift where work at home is going to be a much more common practice going forward.
And we know that a lot of major companies, huge employers, are saying we're not ever going to have the same look to what we had before.
Well, think about the builders and what the builders are building right now. The builders, the companies that build and design homes, they are designing homes now for that trend. They
Correct.
see it.
They do. But think about the GoDaddies, the Googles, the Amazons, the the big companies out there.
Yeah.
Our son works for GoDaddy, and they're telling him, probably he can work from home forever, which his company always had before. But people like to go into the office and be a part of a community, right?
Yep.
But they're already saying you're going to be working from home 100% way into next year.
Yeah.
And, that 6% to 12%, I'm sure, is at least accurate, if not
No,
more.
I agree. And so just before, I know we're rapidly running out of time, as usual. Affordability, home affordability. That is going to be something that's going to be, you're going to see a lot of headlines about housing affordability and a affordability crisis. And that's a thing. It definitely is. The reality is right now, even though prices have gone up anywhere from 8 to 10% over the last year for homes, the actual affordability index has either stayed the same or actually gone down because of the low interest rates.
Right.
And so, watch for interest rates going up, which, again, all the experts, nobody is predicting interest rates to have any big spikes, even, all the way through next year, 2021. But this lack of inventory is going to be driving a lot of the trends. And one of them is this accessory dwelling unit phenomenon, which isn't...
Wait, you said that so fast. Accessory dwelling unit.
ADU is kind of the term that's being thrown around out there. And it's the granny flat, that's a term. The
A standalone guest house.
Multi-generational house. It's basically taking an existing home and giving it an additional apartment residence, usually for a family member, but that doesn't necessarily mean true. The challenge with that one is zoning, obviously. That so much zoning, and I know in Albuquerque we've recently totally redone, the zoning, and so that can be a way to alleviate some of this inventory shortage, as well as costs of housing issues going forward. So that's one thing to watch for, Tracy.
Yeah. The Minneapolis area changed their zoning, and they're allowing accessory dwelling units on almost every property in the Minneapolis area, and that was their way. They basically abolished single family home zoning, so they're allowing duplexes, triplexes to be built anywhere in the city. It's a huge change.
Well, and it's one of those things where, talk about opening up a lot of, you buy a home. I mean, it's one of those things where you could probably sit here and debate for a full day about, the pros and cons of it. Because people buy, in a neighborhood, because the zoning says that this is the only type of home that's going to be built in a neighborhood. All of a sudden they come in and change it. And so it is something to watch. That's all we're saying here.
It is. You think about, I happen to know the Minneapolis area pretty well, having grown up in a now suburb of Minneapolis. And there's some neighborhoods where, people have big, beautiful, thately properties near lakes.
Yep.
And, if you think about somebody putting a triplex next door, it'll be interesting to watch. But really, with the lack of land in a lot of areas, it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect big changes in 2021, though. So next topic.
Well, the last thing I just want to wrap up this conversation is the construction boom that is happening and is going to continue to happen. Single family, home construction is going to continue. We talked about earlier about the lost decade of construction. There's plenty of room for building. There's need for it, especially in the lower price points. Unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of that in the Albuquerque market.
As in affordability.
Affordability. I mean,
it's expensive to build new homes.
Yeah, I mean, under 300,000 new construction is a rare thing in the Albuquerque area. And so those are some of the big things. Tracy, I did want to hit on one thing before we finish up for the day.
Do you have a stat for the day?
I have a stat for the day.
Okay.
I have a stat for the week. I did a quick look at the first 15 days, first half of December, comparing it to last year, and we're looking at the Albuquerque, Metro Albuquerque area, Bernalillo County, Sandoval County, and Valencia County. And we're seeing 38% less homes on the market this year than last year. We've seen a small increase in the number of homes coming on the market. So that's a good sign because we need that. We've seen a 40% increase in the number of homes that have come off the market as a pending sale. So the sales are strong in December. It's, there's no doubt that 2020 is going to be, well, we've already surpassed it. 2020 is going to be the strongest sales year for real estate in Albuquerque ever, from a number of units standpoint and dollar standpoint, without a doubt. And it looks like December is going to be strong, just based on some of these preliminary reads that I'm seeing right now.